Hi there, and good afternoon. I'm John.
I'm Zen. And I'm Julie.
We're with C Nation, and you are tuned in to the 50 Days of Cannabis podcast, where we examine the cannabis laws in each of the 50 states.
Oh, well, hold on, John. You missed one.
I did. The District of Columbia is also included in this. We just thought 50 days sounded a little better than 51. Today we're looking at the cannabis laws in California. The Golden State has been in the business of regulating medicinal cannabis for a long time, and as a result has developed one of the most comprehensive sets of cannabis laws in the country, including those that will oversee its adult use program starting early next year. Zen, tell us about possession in the Golden State.
Recreational cannabis has been legal in California since November 2016. But no sales licenses will be in effect until January 1st, 2018.
Fantastic.
If you're under 21 and a non-medical user, over 28.5 grams is just an infraction and will give minors under 18 drug counseling and those between 18 and 21 a $100 fine.
Which 28 grams is a zip. It's an ounce. So keep proceeding.
If you're over 21 and have more than 28.5 grams or 8 grams of concentrate or more than 6 plants, it's a misdemeanor. You get 6 months in jail and a $500 fine.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to mention one thing here. California is so cool when it comes to, their personal use, their personal levels of cannabis. One thing that you mentioned there that I'm really, really, really a fan of is the no criminal charge for these kids that are under 18 on these small amounts of possessions. I'm okay with sending them to drug court, etc., whatever it is.
Drug counseling,
counseling, drug intervention, drug education, etc. It may not ultimately change their course in life, but, it's a lot like learning about contraceptives. You really got no reason to get pregnant at that point. You've been informed, So I like that they don't have even a misdemeanor on their juvenile record. That stuff never goes away. And there's just no call for it. That intervention is really perfect. And even the 18 to 21, okay, you're an adult now. We're going to give you a little tiny thing here that you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, $100 fine.
Which is that fine. But I really applaud that. It's a sensible approach to cannabis. Wake up. It is. Over 21, yeah, of course all bets are off. But I kind of like how they have that going there. Zen.
Yes.
Tell us about medical. That's about 20 years old or so in California.
Medical's been legal in California since 1996.
Jeez.
If you've got a medical card, you're able to possess up to 8 ounces of cannabis, up to 6 mature and 12 immature plants.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And concentrated cannabis in the amount that fits each patient's needs.
Wonderful. That is just awesome.
I need a ton, Doc. Will you write me
a metric ton?
A metric ton. However they weigh liquids. I don't know. I need a jug. I need a jug of concentrate.
How about a gallon?
Gallon jug works just
as
a
barrel.
A barrel of 55 gallon. I think that'll get me by this month, Doc. Sign here. We're just fooling, of course, but it's awesome. It's awesome that medical patients can really they and their doctors can decide. Look, I need a little more than this, and it's legit, So, I guess if a medical doctor signs off on it, California's cool with that. So it's awesome. Jules, tell us all about them growers and sellers.
Yep, the unlicensed distribution of any amount is a misdemeanor. That will give you 6 months behind bars and a fine up to $1,000. If you are gifting 28 grams, that is, once again, a zip an ounce. Or anything less than that, it's no incarceration, but a $100 fine. If you are over 18 years old and you're selling to a 14 through 17-year-old, that is a felony. 3 to 5 years behind bars.
Fair enough.
If you're over 18 and you're selling to someone under 14 years of age, that's 3 to 7 years, and that is a felony. So just don't sell to any children.
That's crazy.
We don't agree with that.
18 and older. Stick to adults.
Cultivation. If you are any adult over 21, you can grow up to 6 plants. No penalties and no fees. If you grow anything over 6 plants, that is a misdemeanor, 6 months in jail and a $500 fine. Now this is where we get a little bit real serious.
We do normally get serious here, but I'm going to take, which I normally do, I'm going to take my sweet time getting there and talk about something that I think is actually awesome. It's the state of California. So selling and growing any amount, misdemeanor. We have done so many of these podcasts where that's just a felony. and sometimes a serious felony. We've seen like up to lifetime charges, 6-figure fines for selling any amount. It's just the dumbest thing in the world. But what I want to get to is actually the size of California. So they've been at this medical game for about 20 years now. And we've been out to Cali quite a bit. We know people up and down the state. Pretty great place. There are dispensaries everywhere. Everywhere. Californians are used to just going to the dispensary on the corner market like they go to the grocery store. And it's really shaped the philosophy of cannabis in California at these smaller, at these personal levels, the individual level with these individual amounts, these zips and smaller, pretty fair personal amounts of cannabis. Law enforcement, by and large, has just said, man, we got so many better things to do. And like I mentioned, cannabis is just everywhere in California, which brings me to my main point. It's an article I read a few days ago that was talking about the potential dollar value of cannabis in California when the adult marketplace comes online in January of 18. And the article indicated, and this is based on current sales, so they're not just like throwing darts at a dartboard or something. They have a pretty informed opinion here. They believe that Los Angeles, within its first year, so the city, the greater Los Angeles area, which, I don't know, 12 or 14 or 15 million people, it's enormous, and goes on and on and on forever, that within the first year, so we're talking about calendar 2018, will sell more than $1 billion in cannabis. They say it'll be the largest cannabis marketplace in the world. And I think it's awesome. I just read an article today that Colorado is roughly sustained at about $100 million in sales per month now. So that's $1.2 billion, over 12 months in Colorado. But that's the whole state. Now, granted, it's generally the Denver metro area. There's a lot of places in Colorado where cannabis isn't sold locally. But so you're talking about $1.2 billion in the entire state of Colorado versus $1 billion.
The city of Los Angeles.
The city of Los Angeles. I just think it's amazing. The article went on to say that Cali marketplace, starting January of 18, will probably be a $5 billion marketplace in its first year of operation. And I think that's awfully exciting because all of this will happen in a calendar year when we have a major midterm vote in November of 18. A lot of states are lined up for medical vote. A lot of states are lined up for recreational vote. And this dollar value, the amount of cannabis being bought and sold in California, I'm convinced is going to really set a positive tone for that November election. And then by then, I don't know what, it's going to be 40 states with medical and 18 states with recreational. How do you stop this thing? How do the feds say, enough is enough? No, you lost. We dictate public opinion, not the politicians. So let me get back to my serious note here, which is school zones. And I'm going to make this as serious as I can without laughing. It's a misdemeanor with 10 days in jail and a $500 fine.
That's it?
That ain't nothing but a thing.
That is nothing.
That is the school zone.
You see a lot more harsher laws on school zones.
We do. State by state across the country, they've just been terrible. Now, the federal government has a whole different policy on school zones, but this is state business. This is a state matter. And they've just kind of said, yeah, I mean, okay, if you have you're growing 1,000 plants in what they might consider a school zone, guess what? That's kind of beyond a school zone infraction, and that's just trafficking. Yep. They're gonna clamp down on you, and it really doesn't matter where you're growing. So, misdemeanor, 10 days, $500 fine. And remember, those are maximums. It could be as little as nothing, except you'll lose your reefers. Sorry, I'm trying to be serious about California school zone laws, but they've tied my hands here, and I just can't be. For a more comprehensive look at California's cannabis laws, please visit us at cnation.com and click on the state-by-state link.
Remember, you have rights if you're arrested for any cannabis-related reasons. You have the constitutional right to remain silent until your attorney is present. If you don't have an attorney, ask for one.
Holla.
This is Zen.
And Julie.
And John.
With C Nation, bringing you a snapshot of California's cannabis laws. Be safe.
Stay informed.
What they said. The 50 Days of Cannabis podcast is a copyrighted production of the South American Gold Corporation.
We appreciate your likes and shares on social media.
Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at C Nation Channel.